how to import an MP3 file into GarageBand, use it as a sample, and save it as a permanent Apple loop in your library. We've already downloaded an MP3 file. We have played it at least once in iTunes, and we've created our new blank loop project. Any song that you've played in iTunes should appear over here. This is the button in the bottom right next to your loop browser button. We have our media browser down here. And if you click on iTunes, you should be able to see anything you've ever played in iTunes. So I'm going to do, for my example, Smoke on the Water. It's so simple. I just click and drag the song over to measure 1 here. GarageBand is now importing the file. It's converting it probably to a WAV file. And you see now an orange sample up here. So far we've only seen green and blue. This one is orange. That means it's an external file that cannot really be adjusted in the ways that some of our loops can. So we're going to have to take a part of this and manipulate it so that we can use it like a normal loop. Let's check to make sure this import has worked. Okay, so that works fine. And you'll notice the metronome, if I turn this off, if I mute this, the metronome is going at its own pace. It has nothing to do with the song because we've imported an external file. GarageBand does not know what tempo this song is at, so we are going to have to tell it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to double click this loop to get an up close view of it. And we need to find the start of an 8 count or a 16 count phrase that we're going to use as our loop. Again, your loop must be 8 or 16 beats long. That's 2 or 4 measures long. So if you listen to me count to 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pardon the bell. So that phrase actually spans 2 8-beat counts. So it's a 4-measure phrase. We could count up to 16, we could count to 8 twice, we could count to 4 2 times. But we need to find the exact point in the music where it starts. And that's right there. See how the song has a little bit of silence at the beginning of it? We can't make a loop with silence at the beginning of it. So we want to put our cursor, we want to put the red line right where the tallest peak of that waveform is. And we can't really do that right now because we're snapping to the grid. Let's zoom in over here a little bit. And we want to get our cursor right where the wave starts, right where the sound starts. We can ignore this little extra whatever that is at the beginning. This is the main hit right there. And we're lucky that this grid, see how we're still snapping to the grid, but you can at any point hit Command G, and then we can more smoothly and more finely adjust. So that snaps us off the grid. Command G or Edit up here, or maybe it's Control. Control Snap to Grid is Command G. So we can turn that on or off. So that's on. Now we're going to trim. We want to get rid of the beginning of this loop. So we're going to Command T or Edit Split. And I'm going to click on this beginning part and delete it. Take what we already have and put it right at the beginning. Here we go. Good. So our sample starts right at the beginning of the song. Now we need to find where it stops. Count 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to keep on going for 8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I've hit the space bar as soon as we got to the next 1. You don't stop on 8, you start on the next 1. And you want to cut off right before that peak. We're going from one peak to the next. And I'm going to put it right there. And I'm going to hit Edit Trim again. Edit Split or Command T. And there we go, we've got our scissors. I'm going to delete the rest for now. We can always get it back and use a different part of the song. So now we've got this. Perfect. Let's add, so this is a 16 count loop or a sample. Let's add a normal loop. I'm going to hide this here. Let's find a drum loop to go with this now. And let's find something that's 8 or 16 counts. Alright, we're going to use, we'll try this one, just for comparison. It's 16 beats. You can see right here, 16 beats long, and we're going to put it right up underneath our Smoke on the Water loop. Now, they're both 16 beats, but one is longer than the other. Why is this? That's because this drum loop and every other GarageBand loop will automatically conform to your song's tempo, whereas Orange imported loops will not. So we have to set the song tempo to what Smoke on the Water is currently at. We're going to go down here to our console. We're going to go to our project menu so we can change the tempo of the song. And watch what happens. As I slide this up and down, it looks like the Smoke on the Water is actually growing or shrinking, but what we're really doing is we're changing the tempo of the entire song, and Smoke on the Water is staying the same. So I'm going to try to make this exactly the same as the 16-beat drum loop, and I can go over here, I can zoom in really close. Oh, we're a little bit off. See, it's sticking out just a little bit. So we're going to change the tempo, 112. 114, 113. It looks like 112 is as close as we're going to get to having the end of that be in the right place. We could try 111. It's pretty far back there. So 112 is as close as we're going to get. And we can zoom back out. Oh, but while we're here, let's go ahead and trim this. And you can go ahead and use the trimmer tool instead of doing edit, split. We'll just trim this back. Oh, and now we do want to snap to the grid, so I'm going to hit Command G or Control Snap to Grid. Notice that's checked off now. We're going to snap back to the grid, and we're going to make this exactly snaps to the same length. So we can zoom back out now, and we've got our Smoke on the Water and a drum kit, and they should play together. Very good. The other thing we can do is we can use the loop region, cycle region, or the loop region button down here. We can turn that on, and that makes this gold bar appear up here, and that's going to loop over and over again. And we should be able to hear how it sounds as a continuous loop. And that loop sounds pretty natural. So I think we're almost ready to go. So what we've determined now, by sliding this thing up and down until the two loops lined up the exact same length, we have just discovered that the original tempo of Smoke on the Water was 112 beats per minute. So now we know that, and now we're going to set this permanently as a loop. And here's how we do this. It's very simple. We're going to click on Smoke on the Water. We're going to click Edit, and we're going to go down to Add to Loop Library. So we've got a bunch of options. This is, as far as I know, a permanent process. So you want to make sure you put in some good information here, as I don't know any way to edit it later. The first thing I want you to type in is your name, so that later on, any loops that you save, any samples that you save into GarageBand, you'll be able to type in the search box over here. You'll be able to type your name and find everything you've ever made. So I'm going to type my name. I'm going to type the title. I can just do Smoke water, and then the section of the song, intro. Name, smoke water, intro. Okay, you definitely have to make sure that it says loop up here. That way GarageBand will know how many beats it is. It'll be able to adjust it to your song. If it's a one-shot, it'll be like those sound effects that have a number of seconds instead of beats over here. Definitely must be a loop. If you know major or minor, you can do that. Otherwise, don't worry about it. I think this one's minor. An instrument category, you can put in, let's see, this is electric guitar. And you can do genre, rock, and let's see, we got a distorted sound, it's electric, and that's enough. You don't have to do this stuff, I don't think, or they might make you choose at least one descriptor. So I'm going to create, and after it takes a second to process, we should see over here, oh, look at that, Maddox Smoke Water intro. It's in our loop browser now, and I can drag this up here, and now it's a blue loop instead of an orange one. What's the big deal? Why is it a blue loop instead of an orange one? Why does that matter? Well, now, unlike before, now we can adjust the tempo of our song, and it won't move. It will adjust with our song. So we can now delete the whole original track. I'm just going to hit track, delete. And we can listen to it. It started at 112. We can now listen to it at 132. It'll be a little faster. We can take it way slow to like 85. So that, and now we can change it with a bunch of different drum beats. We could do all kinds of different styles. Oops. Why does it say mandolin? Did I accidentally select this as a mandolin track instead of electric guitar? I don't remember doing that. That's okay. We could put a drum beat in here. We could make it like a hip hop beat. Now we've got Smoke on the Water with a hip hop beat. And there you have it. That's it for now.